Right, I'm just going to open this on my garage floor. Look, these are my ranunculus. Can you see those? I haven't decided whether to do these this year and overwinter them, or I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so in this video, at the end, I'll give you an update on the garden, which isn't great. I've kind of neglected it because I realised I hadn't really fully resolved the landscaping in this garden. And also I'd neglected that large hedge that periodically appears, but I generally try and not film that as half of my garden because I can't stand this monstrous hedge. It's actually great for wildlife, so I've procrastinated about cutting it because it's full of birds' nests, and that is also the reason I don't want to get a workman in. I've had workmen in before, they just don't do a very good job and they charge me a lot of money, and if I get a workman in to cut my hedge back and say please don't damage the birds' nests, they're just not going to listen. I just know that from past experience. So I thought, you know what, it's about time I just did these jobs myself. It's going to be a lot easier, but I need the right equipment. So I bought this telescopic electric hedge trimmer, and it just arrived literally yesterday. And so here I am unboxing it. When I first unboxed it, I was pretty intimidated. I'm not a power tool kind of person. It took me about 10 years to summon up the courage to get an electric drill because I was just so terrified that somehow I was going to end up putting the drill in my own brain or something. Yeah, not really power tool friendly, but also I do have quite big ideas about what I want to do with my house, particularly this extension, this garage that I'm in now, and just, you know, in the garden. And I thought, you know, I'm going to have to just overcome my fears of power tools. And so I bought a drill it was about 5 years ago now, I bought my first drill. And here we are now with my electric hedge trimmer. And this is the one I got from Amazon. I'll link it below. And yeah, it was not a multi-function tool. It's just got one head and this kind of telescopic, bit of it, the handle. It's not actually that heavy, but what it is unwieldy because it's so long. And also, because you tend to do the job for a while, then it gets heavy. So you do need to take breaks. And obviously there's the strap. And I didn't have any safety equipment. Here's the safety instructions. And I realised I didn't have any safety equipment. I don't have a hard hat. I don't have goggles. So I thought, okay, with that being the case, I'm going to just have to take double extra precautions not to drop it on my head and not to cut things directly above my face, which wasn't that difficult as it turned out. So although it took me a while to put this together, no, it didn't really take me a while. What am I talking about? I'll speed it up for you is what I mean. It literally was just slotting in two pieces and securing them. And you'll see in a minute, they screw together and there's a little notch that sort of holds it more firmly in place. And you can see in the instructions, they seem a little bit crazy at first. Like when I saw this, I thought, holy guacamole, what is this? But, you know, it all became pretty clear pretty quickly once I started reading it. Yeah. And the head, it rotates as well. So you can cut your hedge at different angles. And anyway, so let's just put it together quickly. This is it's a bit like a Hoover attachment, except that there's an extra security level where it has to lock together. And there's a ridge on the silver side there. There's a little ridge that fits into one of the slots on the black side. And I didn't realise that when I was looking at the instructions here, but yeah, there's this little notch there. So then that notch then fits kind of neatly in one of those notches. I don't know if I'm doing this right, by the way, so I was doing it right. And then you needed to do the other side here, the same again. You need to screw it tight so that the notch goes in the notch on the other side. And of course, I didn't practice with extending the telescopic bit because I just wanted to sort of get going with it for now. On the whole, the assembly was pretty easy, I have to say. And then you just put the straps on the relevant strap holdery bits, which are it's all in the diagram. Yeah. And then you can see by pressing these two top buttons, so the button is on the other side as well for extra safety, you can alter the angle of the cutting blade there. So that's pretty good. That's really easy to do sort of on the go. You don't need a key or anything like that. So yeah, it was pretty good, I thought, so far. And then the final stage is just attaching the straps. And I have to say, this for me was probably the weakest part of the arrangement. I just thought the strap was actually a damn nuisance, but you kind of do need it, but I just think it could probably be done better. Maybe I didn't do it right. I don't know. That's a real possibility that I did not wear it right. I don't know. But anyhow, I'll figure that out maybe at a later date. One last thing before I start, I'm going to use a circuit breaker. Obviously this is a UK one, but I think that's probably just a safety precaution that's not worth overlooking. Now, don't let my idiocy put you off buying this hedge trimmer. I think it is really good. I just really didn't factor in how monstrous this hedge had grown, and so it actually needed a lot more work than this little hedge trimmer here. But from this little go here that I had when I just did some of the softer twigs at the front of the hedge, I could tell it was pretty good, and I cut a lot of this in a very short space of time. Now, of course, the hedge itself just needs a lot more work than this. This hedge trimmer, really, what I found was it was excellent for shaping and topiary. So what I think going forward is that once I've cut this hedge right back to the larger branches and trunks, and this softer growth starts to re-emerge, then I think this hedge trimmer will come into its own in its ability to shape and transform the shape of the hedge going forward. But of course, at this point, this hedge has got out of control, so the hedge trimmer isn't really going to do the job. But I still thought it was really good at the practice bits that I did. A quick update. So I've been clearing so I can show the shape of this nice box tree, clearing around there, and as you can see, these need sort of just now removing manually because they're cut down, but they they've littered the floor. Fine, I'll clear that up. Also be careful of the floor. So I've got like a hole here and I nearly tripped, so it's uneven ground, and that is not what you want to be doing when you've got a power tool in your hand. But I've pretty quickly made light work of this. So I've got a gap here now, so that's really nice. That's already letting light in here, so I'm pretty pleased about that. And it is going through, obviously these are just soft brambles anyway, but it's also gone through sticks like this. Now, as I progress through this job, I'm realizing that some of the branches are going to be too thick, and that's fine. But I think like a job like this that I've kind of neglected for a couple of years now, I'm just going to do it bit by bit. What I found was I prefer using it out like that, like my arm now away from me. So if I were to drop it or trip over, hopefully it'll fall away from me. Alright, my final update was I made myself a little gap in the fence, and I topiaried just to neaten them up, my trees, just to give them some smart structure. I think when you have a crazy cottage garden, it's really nice to have neat, so you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th one which I still need to get at a bit by the chicken coop there. So it's just really tidied up that area now. Not going to cut the holly back yet because it's covered with the wisteria clematis, and also it's got some berries, so I'm going to use that at Christmas. So I'll trim that back at Christmas. So that is why I'm deliberately leaving that. And then this is just so big, I'm going to have to do it bit by bit. I'm pretty pleased with it overall, but we'll see. I mean, it has cut through that work pretty quickly for me. So look at these. Honestly, put everything in the wrong place as usual. So I'm going to have to do a lot of digging up and rearranging. But my next big job is probably not going to be that. It's going to be some nice dahlias there. Look at those in there. And I've got this one. Look at these. So these need to be right at the back of the border and staked. But look how beautiful this dahlia is. I don't know what I've just stood in there, but it did not feel good. Oh, it's an ant's nest, I think. Oh, that's weird. So I've got this. It looks really good with this bubbly up over here, look. Doesn't it look nice in an arrangement together? So, yeah, so that's nice. Last year, I had loads more of these in this corner, standing up and threading through, and they looked absolutely beautiful. But this year, not so many. I've got lots of flowers yet to come on this dahlia. So this dahlia's done really well. Weirdly, I thought this was the Cafe au lait, but no, it appears to be a different variety, and I don't know what. But this is why you should grow buddleia. The bees and the butterflies love it. So anyway, you know, there's some things I'm happy with. I'm going to put some more hedge along here, and this pergola, of course, is my next big job. It is going. In fact, I ended up doing this new seating area and potting area here, so I'll bring you that video next. But before I do that, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post that video. And if you like this video and you find these, I mean, for me, I am not very good with power tools, not very confident rather. So if you feel the same and you like more of those videos, then obviously like if that helped you. I'm going to do the chainsaw, the little handheld chainsaw one next. And yeah, see you again soon. Bye.